In today's video, 5 things that I wish I knew as a beginner runner. During these coronavirus times, a lot more people are now spending a lot more time outdoors and turning to running as forms of exercise for themselves. But I want to share with you my top 5 tips that I wish I would have known when I started running. Warming up properly before your runs. Not to just go outside and start running after you've just been sitting down for a long time. Doing a little warm up before your run will do you a world of good and help you to stay injury free. You don't have to be an athlete to do these. You don't need any equipment. You can just do a few simple exercises outdoors. Just get the legs moving, move them around, get them a little bit of mobility. Doing some activation and some drills will always really help. I've got plenty of those videos that you can check out, and there's loads out there on YouTube as well. Also, just getting some movement in by doing like a 5-minute walk before, or if you want to go and cycle to the shop and come back and then go for your run, it'll do you the world of good and help you for on your run. Most people will always say, the first 1 or 2 kilometers are the hardest in the run, and that's probably because their body's not warmed up. So doing these things is really going to help, and you'll probably be roaring to be ready to go for your run. Correct shoe sizing. I remember when I first started out running, I always bought the wrong size shoes. You bought the shoe that fitted in length of the size of your foot. Making sure you have the right size shoe can make a world of good and keep your feet healthy and actually comfortable wanting to run. So here's some quick tips that you can do to find the right size shoes. I'd always recommend that you go to a shoe shop and support your local business. And that way you can get professionals' advice and somebody to really help you get the right fit and type of shoe that you need to run in. But a quick few tips from myself: make sure that you always have a thumb's width between the end of your longest toe and the end of your shoe, because your feet expand when you're running. Also, another thing that you can do is take the insole out of the shoe and stand on it, and that way you can really make sure that you have that 1 thumb's width. When you do try on your running shoes, make sure that you wear running socks and not like office socks or woolly socks. Also, it's really important that your heel doesn't move around and you can get a nice lockdowner over the top, but making sure that your heel isn't moving forwards and backwards. So if you can tie up the shoe and it doesn't move around, another way you can do is stick your finger down the back of the shoe when you've got it in. If you can fit your fingers in behind it, then maybe it's a bit too big. I've got a whole other video on this, but you can check that, links down below. Slow, not fast. Make sure that you're not going out and running too quickly. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that we see out there, people running too quickly. As a result of this, you normally burn out quicker, and then you think you can't run and you give up a little bit sooner and resort to walking. That's not a bad thing, but if you want to run, it's better to start off slower and build up. Even all the elite running athletes that you see out there, like Eliud Kipchoge, the world marathon record holder, will do 80% of his running easy. They might have a higher volume, but they're still doing 80% of their running at an easy pace, which is relative to them. So to determine an easy pace for you, a good thing can be wearing a heart rate monitor and keeping it below 75% of your maximum heart rate. A quick and easy way to figure out your maximum heart rate is to take the figure 220 and minus your age, and that'll give you your maximum heart rate. Obviously, this isn't scientifically 100% accurate, but it's a really good rule of thumb to go from, especially when you're starting out. There are plenty of other calculators and tools out there on the internet. I might try and leave a link down below for one. Data is your friend. Recording your runs can be a really great thing to do for a couple of reasons. So it's really great to be able to see your progression. You might have done a 5K in 40 minutes, and then the next week you might have managed to do it in 5K in 38 minutes. Nowadays you can record your data on even your mobile phone using apps like Strava, Saunter app, Sports Tracker. There are many out there. And the great thing is that you can monitor your progress and see how much more you're progressing, and also keep a lid on it so you're not doing too much too soon. It's always really great to be able to sit down after you've had your run and look back at all those details and feel proud in what you just achieved. And so you should do. You can enjoy that smoothie and share the details with your friends, and hopefully probably inspire them to also get out there running. Not only that, but it can be a really great way of monitoring your progression. It's really good to be able to see your progression that you've been making yourself as well. So when you first started out, you might have been doing 10 kilometers an hour and a half. And then 1 year later on, you might be doing 10 kilometers in 1 hour. It's great to be able to see that data and progression, and it'll help you make you feel even more proud of what you've achieved and what you're doing. Correct clothing. Having the correct clothing for your runs is going to be an absolute game changer. Doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go out there and spend thousands of euros or pounds on different types of clothing, but just having a few correct items is really going to help. You don't want to be running in too much, but you don't also want to be running in too little. We've all done it that we've gone out for a run and it's super nice and sunny, but it's so cold out there that we've just put the shorts and t-shirt on and been too cold. It's not comfortable, and you're probably not going to enjoy your run. It's probably going to put you off a little bit. So make sure that you dress correctly for your runs. And a really good rule of thumb to follow for dressing is not to dress by the weather, but dress for the temperature. What I mean by this is look at the temperature of what's outside. So let's say it's 10 degrees Celsius and add 10 degrees. That is the temperature that it will feel like once you've been running. The reason for this is because your whole body will start to create energy and start to warm up. So naturally, you're going to feel a lot warmer than what you did when you initially stepped out of the door. Those first steps can sometimes be the hardest. When it's cold and windy, you can just wear a base layer and a wind protective layer. Then you can also use that base layer and a t-shirt if it's mild weather, and just a t-shirt if it's nice and warm. So just with a few items, you can create a whole range of different scenarios to be running in. And also it's not just about the amounts of clothing that you're putting on, but making sure that you're getting sport-specific clothing. And what I mean by this is not by wearing a cotton t-shirt, which will absorb all the moisture, but maybe a technical fabric which will help wick it away and keep you nice and dry and warm. So those are my top 5 tips that I wish I would have known before I started running. There's plenty of resources and plenty of people willing to talk about running, myself included. Drop a comment down below and I'll be more than happy to get back to you and help you and point you in the right direction. And all those experienced runners out there, leave a comment down below. Leave your top tip that you'd like to share with everyone. It's always really good. People can scroll through there and learn a little bit more as well. If you're not subscribed already, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, drop a like, and we'll see you in tomorrow's video.